What's up guys, this is the Guitar Agent coming at you with a brand new reaction video, and I guess we're continuing some sort of a theme. As of recently, we're discovering a brand new band from the Korean scene. The band that we're going to listen to together, guys, today, it's called Jambinai. Jambinai, I honestly am not really sure how to pronounce that, and especially the differences in pronunciation between, in sounds between the Korean and the Japanese languages. I'm honestly not very cultured about that. And the song that we're going to listen to together is called They Keep Silence. Now, what I've heard, as I said, we've been discovering bands from the Korean scene as well. We did Dreamcatcher a couple of weeks ago, we did yesterday Rolling Quartz, and now this is the third request that I got from that scene, which is very interesting. It's interesting to, dig a bit deeper into some specific countries when it comes to the musical elements, the musical tradition. And specifically with this, I use the word tradition because, let's say, in the recommendations that I got for this band, you guys told me that this is kind of a folk inspired band from Korea, which has me extremely excited. As you guys know, if you're familiar with the channel, the Vagaki band has been one of my old favorites, let's say, in this journey that we started at the beginning of this year with the reactions. Beautiful music, and I absolutely love traditional elements mixed in with rock and metal. So I'm very curious to see how much of that I'm going to see here, and we're going to get with this song. Without further ado, guys, Jambinai, They Keep Silence. Let's go. Great quote. Right away, there we go. I'm getting very strong Thom Yorke from Radiohead vibes from his voice, which I love. You guys already know that, but you already know that I'm going to ask this, but let me know what's the name of the two instruments that you're seeing here. It's extremely hypnotic. Very sparse use of the cymbals, and very low, both the bass and the two other instruments. Very low frequency. Oh my god, this is fantastic. It's so rich. That one string, it's almost like a one string viola. Such an interesting tone. So emotionally charged. Nice. Almost noise rock now. so intense. I love also the dissonant riff on the guitar. The amount of control that you need to have to play that, wow. This is honestly like hypnotic. There is something so visceral about this song. I love the drum work, it's so effective. Almost tool-like. A lot of focus on the toms, so good. I feel like I need a break after that. Wow, the intensity of this performance, fantastic. Now I don't know if, I mean, it looked like this was some sort of a live recording. They also had the mixing and the mastering going on in the background, just as if it was a live show recorded in studio, of course. This was amazing, amazing. One of the best things that I've heard in quite a while, to be honest. Fantastic. There are quite a lot of things that I want to touch upon, guys. First, of course, first thing first, the two traditional instruments that were included. Now, first, I do want to ask you guys if you know, and if you're familiar with the band, if you're a fan of the band, please let me know if they have, let's say, if they always use these instruments or if they rotate in I don't know, maybe they change up the traditional instrumentation. Maybe some of the guys that play, for example, I don't know, guitar or bass, they switch to something else as well. Or if this is a consistent lineup, I'd be very interested to know that. Now, the first one looked a bit like a mix between a shamisen and a koto. A bit more like a koto, of course, but it looked a bit smaller. So I guess that it was a bit more high-pitched. Of course, it also depends on where you position the... I'm going to call them keys, they're not keys, but, you know, the things to prevent the string from ringing. Because, of course, a sound is higher when there is, let's say, when the length of the string is shorter, if you think about it. That's why, for example, a guitar is, let's say it has a higher pitch compared to a bass, because, you know, the bass has longer strings, it also has thicker strings, but that's a whole another thing that we could talk about for hours. So it was extremely interesting, and I noticed that she was playing that with some sort of finger picks, which kind of reminded me the things that, let's say, the thumb pick that is used for the shamisen. But again, guys, please let me know the names of these instruments as well. The other one was much more unique, I want to say. Yeah, again, it was, I want to say, a one-string instrument, even though it had two knobs, let's say, for tuning, I guess. I don't even know if we can really talk about tuning, but I mean, of course we can, but you know, a lot of that, the sound that you made, I seem to understand, is made just by pressing the string towards the neck of the instrument. And doing that, of course, you create a lot of changes, a lot of flux. It almost floats, you know. It's, even if you think about the theremin, or what's the name of that thing, where you actually don't touch things, it's just a movement. It has kind of a similar thought behind it. If you bend a string, of course, it changes the sound. That's the same thing that you can do even with a guitar. The bends, the tremolo, for example, with every instrument. Even if you go and think about cellos, if you think about violins, you know, even traditional classical instrumentation, when there is a string, if you just vibrate or bend it, it just changes the intonation of the note that you're playing, which makes sense. It's just physics. And it had such a distinctive sound, but especially the way that it was used within the song, it was so interesting. It was almost I'm going to say background effect, but not to undermine the presence and importance of the instrument in the song. I don't want to do that, because it was one crucial element, so constant throughout the whole thing. And again, it helps so much to push the song in that noise rock direction. And overall, I want to say this song, it's kind of hard. It's, I want to say, a mix of progressive metal and noise rock. Again, it's a bit of a stretch for some parts. The vocal performance was so interesting, as I said, really reminded me of Thom Yorke, but with way less melody in his singing. It was more of a mantra, if you will. And that's kind of the vibe that I got from the whole thing. It really almost felt like a mantra, like something that you go through constantly and you just lose yourself in it, which is something that I love. I guess you can call that minimal music as well, when you just tend to repeat the same pattern over and over again, because you just lose yourself in it. It's hypnotic, as I said during the reaction. I absolutely love this. Fantastic performance by the drummer. The drummer was maybe my favorite thing in the whole song. It really reminded me of Danny Carey from Tool. The way that he played the drums and his selection, like his thought process behind, okay, what I'm going to play on this section, this. It was so good. A lot of focus on the toms, which again helps that mantra, almost like a chant, and again, kind of reminds me of Tool in many ways as well. But it really helps, like it creates that vibe. If you don't put a lot of cymbal work and you stay in those low frequencies, you get into that groove, you get into that vibe, and that's always the case for me, at least. That's a very personal opinion, let's say, but I think that's true for most of us. Like, that's the thing that we go for when we go for a tom, let's say a tom bass verse on the drums, without cymbals, with a very minimal snare presence as well, so it doesn't really break the song. It doesn't really create that 4/4 groove, let's say ta 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 ta. If you play a lot of toms, it just, you get lost in the groove, and you get lost in the music, you get lost in the vocals. Everything is connected. This song is so good. I can't wait to listen to this again. The vibe that I got from this is that I'd probably love a full record. Now, I don't know, again, if this is a very representative song when it comes to them. If it's let's say if it was a good starting point, and please let me know that in the comments, guys, because this is a band that I for sure want to listen more from, for sure. Again, it's been one of the best things that we've heard, I think, on the channel. One of the, not necessarily the best things, but one of the most original things that we've heard on the channel in a while. I'm so happy. Thank you so much for recommending me this. Fantastic. I mean, I'm sure that there are a lot of other points, like the bass performance, which was brilliant, but also the performances with the traditional instruments, the decent guitar riffs, as I said. But I don't want to get too much into details, because I think that the focus here is more about the overall strength of the song and the overall vibe of the song. I think that this song was written and performed with the idea of getting the listener lost into this, which is kind of, I mean, it is what they achieve, at least for me. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if that's the same for you. This was absolutely brilliant, honestly. Guys, please give me a little bit more of information about this band, information about the traditional instrumentations. As I said, if this was a good starting point, other recommendations, because I do want to go and listen to more 100%. If it's not with reactions on the channel, it's going to be on my own personal time listening to records. Please let me know more. Absolutely impressed. Fantastic first approach. Fantastic first impression, guys. Thanks again for recommending me this, and thanks for joining, of course. I do appreciate your time. And I'll see you very soon with the next one. Thanks again, guys. Have a good day.